Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of Doctor Who and Autism Celebrations, which is it's a great series to celebrate Doctor Who hitting 60 years this year, which I can't believe. Really, I think it makes us all feel old, even though some of us haven't been around half that time, really. But yeah, it's gonna be a really cool episode today, joined with Lee, where we're gonna be talking about Doctor Who. Um, and we're going to be speaking about a little bit about autism. So Lee, it's great to have you on today.
Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind just doing a brief little introduction of yourself.
Well, hello, I'm Lee. I'm a actor, writer, director from the northeast of England, and I have been a Doctor Who fan since how old was I? It was my first episode was Christopher Eccleston's ever last episode, so I've been like sort of a fan from the very start almost.
Yeah, that was a good episode. That was, yeah. I think out of the endings of the Doctors, I did like his one the most because he was like, when he was going, he was kind of comforting like the companion, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Because they don't know what's happening. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I watched it about the same similar thing when he was a doctor. Um, but he was a very good doctor, really, wasn't he?
he was. Yeah, like I only got to see him that episode because I didn't really buy any of the DVDs or watch any of the later series till about a year and a half later when I decided I've only ever seen this episode. I should probably see more, and I bought the DVDs, and it was just like for me, like the very first episode, he was just like sort of interesting to watch. He was just quirky, he was fun, and it was just funny to me watching. Like I was like, I love this show. Like I remember buying all the DVDs and like every single day. I remember just like kind of watching them all the time, just seeing how many I could get through each day. It was just such a show that like me back then just couldn't get enough of it. I would buy the magazines that were just coming out about it with the trading cards.
Hmm?
I was buying like any merch. I was buying the sort of screwdrivers. I had like under my bed about 50 different like Doctor Who toys, the
Hmm.
Daleks, Cybermen, the interior, the TARDIS, like Cassandra and everything. Just I was
Yeah.
obsessed with it.
Yeah, I was like at that stage there was lots of merchandise that you could get, um, especially when like maybe the Christopher Eccleston to Matt Smith. There was lots of merch between those three doctors in particular, and then when we get to Peter Capaldi, I found that there wasn't as much. Um, they kind of stopped it or something because like I remember especially with Matt Smith, I used to go to Tesco's, and there would be these many Lego kind of things that you can get, and I used to collect them all. So my bed was like I had a whole bag of them. I had a whole bag of Doctor Who figures. Had the TARDIS that makes noise, um, and it was yeah it was one of those things. And still now I'll collect the different things. Used to have the magazines that you get the Doctor Who toy in it
Yeah.
each week. Yeah,
Yes, I remember them. Yeah.
yeah. And now I just collect the Doctor Who. I could get a Doctor Who magazine every month when they come out.
Yeah. I don't really like do the magazines much, but like I remember
Mm.
when when was it? It was I think it was like when they did like a special David Tennant one, I think, sometime late last year. I remember as soon as I heard about it, I ran to go and buy it because like that is I need that. Like that's collectible. Like I can't miss up the opportunity to have that.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many. Like I remember, I think you used to have a like in the different things that you could get in the magazines, you would get like maybe a poster of a certain episode. Um, and yeah, it was just good. It kind of preparing. It was weekly as well. So when the series was actually on,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Like that you get the magazine maybe the week, I think it was a Thursday or something that they came out, and then you'd go in and you would hope it will be there because everyone want it.
Oh, yeah. I remember that happening with was it the Radio Times did a weekly thing where they had like stickers and they would give you like a chart. You have to like it would be like kind of two-parters. Like one week would be one part of them, the next would be another part, and then we'd move on to like a different episode where we'd do the stickers. I remember like just buying the radio, asking my mum to buy the Radio Times just for the stickers, not for to see what was on, just purely for that.
Yeah, yeah. There was so much that we could collect, but now not a lot.
I know, like
Um,
hardly anything really.
yeah. So I hope that will change because we got Russell T Davies back and everything, and um, it, it looks brighter. Doctor Who now.
It does.
Yeah. Are you are you looking forward to the 60th?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. Like I've seen the trailers, and I'm just like, if the specials are going to be what the trailers are kind of hinting at, I'm really looking forward to it. Like it could be nostalgia of seeing David Tennant there, but I just think that they're kind of going back to how it used to be, what made it great. Because what I would say is with Doctor Who, it's sort of there was a time where it's kind of got it's matured with the storyline. It's got a bit darker. It's got a bit more, sort of edgy in a way. And like I think if you think back to like how it used to be with Matt Smith compared to the storylines like what Peter Capaldi and Jodie had, you can see again a bit further that way. But I think with like Russell T Davies back, he's going to give something that the fans kind of really want.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll want to like in the 60th. There will be lots of surprises. Stuff we already know. Um, like there's announcements all the time with castings, and I can't believe it. Really, because there's only I think like 8 episodes in the next series, and I'm kind of shocked how many castings announcements we're getting. Because I'm going to wonder, are the episodes going to be longer now, or are they going to change it to an hour slot, rather than the 45 that we had before? Because it would make sense because the amount of people are going to be in it.
Yeah, with the amount of people, there is a certain limit you have to see. Like you can't really fit these many characters into an episode that's 30 minutes. You have to give them all kind of time so the story could make sense to have them all jump in. So I think an hour for everything that is kind of being announced, I think that would make the most sense altogether to have it that way.
Yeah, because at the moment they're saying Bo- Bonnie Lamford is going to be a major part of the series. They're saying like the person they announced today. Um, it's going to be a major part, and a lot of other characters are going to be a major part. They're not just going to be in one-off episode. So
Yeah.
it's going to be very. It looks like this TARDIS is going to be very packed.
It is.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, it's very exciting. Like you've got Murray Gold is back. Don't know how long he's going to be there, but I'm glad. That looks like they bring everyone back that was like from series
Yeah.
4.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to be great in that aspect of knowing like all the ones who made it great years ago are returning for this, and it's just like overwhelming in a way, like just like counting down the days till it's actually released. I think it's definitely going to be big. Like I remember in 2013 thinking that anniversary was going to be big, and then compared to all the hype I'm seeing now for it, I think it's past the 2013 hype.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's very much better than the 2013 one, because that was just an episode in 2013. Um, yeah, the 2013 hype was only a singular episode where um the like we're getting 3 episodes. We're getting 3 episodes for the 60th rather than one, so it's
Yeah,
better in that sense.
it really will be. Like one-off special, I can understand. Like, oh, it's a one-off, in but you're kind of limited with what you can do. So having three, you can sort of really expand and make everything sort of big and unique.
Yeah, it does, and it's gonna be very exciting because new characters and old characters. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see what the 14th Doctor does. Um, he looks. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good and sad because David Tennant won't be the Doctor again, like this. He can't
Yeah,
do it a third time, really, unless they brought back his 10th or 14th Doctor, really. But it's gonna be cool, you know. Um, like it's good that we get the hype, but it's a shame it's not more of a series than rather than a 3 episodes, you know.
yeah. Would have preferred a full series just to show off a bit more, but
Mm,
uh,
yeah. So do you have a favourite Doctor that you like at all?
favorite Doctor, I would have to say David Tennant because he was sort of technically the first one I was with,
Mm,
even though I had Chris Eccleston for one episode, but like he's the one who I kind of grew up with in a way, in a sense, because I was like what 9, 10 years old when he first came in, and when he left, I was about 14, going on 15. So it's kind of he's always kind of been the Doctor of my childhood. So I
yeah.
kind of more nostalgic towards him and like love his episodes.
Yeah, his episodes are really good, aren't they? Like, like you look at Doctor Who now, or just the series that have just gone, and you think that not every episode is good, but if you go back then when like series 4 or something, every episode's awesome. So
Yeah,
that's the massive difference to where Doctor Who's gone, and yeah, it's great that David Tennant is back. A lot of people who maybe like Matt Smith or other doctors will probably be like, that he's back again, and why can't another doctor be back? And I think the reason is it isn't just because everyone likes him; it's the fact that he's back because people will watch it. The viewing will go massively up. Nothing against like the last seasons, but they were very bad viewers on the episodes, which was unfortunate. If you're a loyal Doctor Who fan, you watch it anyway, regardless if it's
yeah,
good or bad. Um, but yeah, um, it's gonna be good. I'm very interested to see what happens. Really.
yeah. Same. Like the quality has kind of been a bit on a downhill for the past few years. And I remember thinking, what was it, the 20, I think it was the latest kind of, the 2021, 2022-ish New Year special. I remember watching that and just thinking, it ended and I was just like, what was that? Like, I couldn't even tell you what it was about. I just remember not liking it. I remember as soon as it finished, my friend messaged us. I was like, that was rubbish. I was like, yeah, it wasn't good, was it? I was expecting more.
Yeah,
So to try and think we're going to get something of that quality that we used to have back, it's just like, yes, please
yeah,
show us it.
yeah. And I think, like in the trailers that we saw the time vortex of like series 4 and stuff like that. But I think that's where they trick us there. I don't think they're going to show the entire for an intro of the 60th anniversary trailers. I don't think they're just going to show the whole intro. I think they will add aspects from every try most of the eras of the trailers, like the intros that have gone on, because I don't think like it would just be evolved around Dave Tennant. I think there'll be many other people in the episodes that we don't know. Um, like if other doctors are in it, I reckon it'd be cameos. Um, like the older ones probably. They'll try and get
Yeah.
as many in as they can, because come the 70th, I don't think many of the doctors may not be here because they are quite old. The older ones, aren't they?
Yeah, like, yeah, Colin and Tom and all that. I don't think they would be kind of doing that for the 70th. So I think getting them in as soon as they can,
Yeah,
better.
yeah, because I think Tom's like 89.
He
Um,
is, yeah.
I hope he makes it to the 70th. He'll be 100 maybe. But yeah, like it it is why maybe they picked the Doctors to be more younger now. So like in the in series is to come, they'll be okay. But yeah, I think they try and get as many as they can in uh in the episode in some way. I reckon.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a favourite um monster you like in it in Doctor Who?
I remember being like I would say the Daleks because I remember being obsessed with them. Like I watched when I was watching the like earlier seasons, like the first season of Christopher Eccleston on DVD. I remember the episode with the Dalek. I remember enjoying that because even though I hadn't sort of seen Doctor Who, like it seemed a bit I was hearing about the Daleks in school.
Hmm.
Just, like I just knew what they were, and like I remember watching that episode, thinking, and like wow, like loving it, and then when of course Army of Ghosts and all that happened, which I would say are my favorite episodes because I just remember them all the time, and as a kid, they were the ones I really it blew my mind watching that because I loved the battle and everything. I loved all that was happening, and then the end of that episode, I remember being so upset as a kid, but like seeing the Daleks come out of the sphere, I was just sitting as a kid like,
Oh,
oh, the Daleks, the Daleks.
yeah.
So yeah, I've always liked the Daleks as a villain, and especially the scene in Christopher Eccleston's Dalek when they think, "Ha, you got beat by the stairs," and it's just like elevate. You're like, "Oh my god, they can fly now."
Yeah. It is the Daleks are probably one of the most popular, but they are very good. Um, is that your favorite? Do you have like a favorite like Dalek kind of look? Is it those kind of ones in the Cybermen like Dalek episode where those kind of designs?
I would say yeah, the classic sort of kind of bronzy goldish look, but like I kind of do like sort of some of the later designs. I think they are pretty cool as well, especially kind of like the red Dalek. I remember watching that thinking, "Ooh, that's
Yeah,
interesting. That's pretty cool design."
yeah, yeah. He's the boss, the Red Dalek.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. I found that really funny when in I think it was in Journey's End. Um, it was in Journey's End where the Dalek would come down to the vault and he just gets killed. He gets exterminated. I found that really funny when every time I watched that. Um, and then Davros is like, "It wasn't me. It was Dalek Khan."
Yeah.
That was funny. Um, but yeah, I think that's my favorite design I've watched of Davros. Um, I like that design a bit better than the one that he looked
Yeah.
like in Capaldi episode.
Yeah, that design was really good because it's sort of like it took like how he used to look in like the classic Who episodes. It kind of just updated him a bit, but kind of kept the design, which I thought was really good. And he was menacing. He was really good.
Yeah,
And then especially just kind of when he's like shouting just the reality. I'm thinking, oh my god, this is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. That is what even if Lois Rider complained weren't in the episode, it still would have been good because of the way it was. Um, because yeah, like that I always love that scene when he says and then when the doctor said, "No, Davros, you can't." um, it's just funny every time. Um, but yeah, but that's why series 4 is probably my favorite series I've watched in Doctor Who. It's because like every episode's so good. Um, like I love the Forest of the Dead and the Science of the Library episodes as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
they're good. Midnight is a good one. It's funny because it's just set in one location, so I don't have to worry about like going to different places. They're just set in the one location.
yeah. It was
Uh,
good suspense midnight as well. I remember. I was thinking like it was like because you kind of don't know like what's going to happen. Is one of them secretly sort of being took over? You like, but they did it really well for one location. Like they build the suspense up.
Yeah, yeah. Because what they actually did was because Turn Left only featured Donna really, and that episode only really featured the Doctor. So they actually filmed them at the same time, but because they're not really in the episode together, are they? It's really rare.
Yeah.
Maybe at the beginning, at the end, they do those scenes. Because it's interesting though when they do the filming, they don't actually film in the order that we watch them.
I didn't know they were filming them two like sort of together. That's an interesting fact I've learned.
Yeah, yeah. I actually found out someone on this series told me. They told me, I was like, all right, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, it is very interesting. I love going to a hobby of mine is just go to different locations where Doctor Who's set and stuff. It's quite
Oh yeah,
fun.
I'd love to go like actual locations, but they filmed it because I the pictures I would take. It's just I'd be phone would run out of space.
No, yeah, that I did it last year, and I done it last year. I'm gonna do it this year. Because there's so many different locations. That you go. Normally in Wales, Cardiff, it's a Cardiff area, but it's cool and it's just nice to say, look, I've stood where he stood, and it's even more better if it's just you're there when no one else is there, like, and you're going for that one reason. So yeah, it is good fun. Like you say, you take pictures, you have no story left. Yeah. Um, but there's so many good episodes. In Doctor Who, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean a lot to name. I remember really liking Turn Left because it was sort of kind of a what if episode. Like, what if this didn't happen? What if, you go back to like the Christmas special, the Titanic hidden Buckingham Palace, like you see like how important the Doctor really has been over the years. Like if he wasn't around, then all this catastrophe would have happened. And you're like, this show, enjoying the episodes, it kind of brings a serious kind of matter into it where you look at it, you think, oh yeah.
yeah. Like Turn Left was a good episode. Because it's all about turning left. And like as a kid, I was actually pretty scared of the beetle on the back. Because I was always asking, is this built? Is it on my back? Like as a kid watching it in certain episodes, I would say like to my family I'm watching it with, is this gonna actually happen really? Because they made it really scary. I think Doctor Who, they made it quite scary, and it's not as scary now, not as much, and I like it when Doctor Who is scary, you know. I'd love them to bring some scary episodes back.
It would be good to be like have that kind of sort of intense nature to it. That would be really cool to see again.
Yeah, yeah, because I want to see new monsters. I want to see some old ones. I don't want to see the same ones all the time. Like, as much as we love the normal ones like the Weeping Angels, the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Master, I'd like to see something different. So we have to have the Daleks in because of the contract that Doctor Who have with them. You have to have
Yeah.
them at least once a season, which these last couple of festive specials, let's say, they've had a Dalek in it. And I don't have anything wrong with the Daleks being in the festive specials. It's just that they had I think last couple of years they've had the Daleks in a bit too much. They've had them on that a lot. Um, and I just want something like for Shooty's first episode, like Christmas time this year. I just hope
Yeah.
I hope we don't see a Dalek in it. Um, um, I want it. I like that concept when Rose first entered Doctor Who. Where you saw the companion for a little bit, then you saw the Doctor. I'd like that to be like that. Maybe the opposite way round. for Shooty. So you see the Doctor trying to discover who he is, and then we see the companion a little bit later.
That's a really good way to do it, yeah. And a good way to introduce it. Like, you know who this is, who's the Doctor, but he's sort of, I don't know, kind of lost in a way to
Mm.
where then the companion sort of runs into him. But yeah, I would say a brand new sort of kind of original monster would be good for Shooty. So it's not like something done before, so it's something memorable. So you remember you're talking about it years later, you remember, oh, he faced this creature for the first time in Doctor Who, and it sort
Yeah,
of it builds the legacy towards that character as well, to his version.
because he
Not just to
he's
have like a Dalek or something like, oh
yeah.
yeah, he faced a Dalek, but they've all faced Daleks before.
Yeah, every Doctor will face a Dalek. Everyone has
Yeah,
um every Doctor's faced Cybermen as well. I think actually, yeah, they have. Like
I think so. Yeah,
well, the new Who one, let's say, like Matt Smith, like I said from the Ninth Doctor actually. The Ninth Doctor didn't face a Cyberman, but everyone else. But yeah, I think Shooty, like I think he said he wants to face the Beast. You know, when the 10th Doctor faced the Beast, I think that he wants to face that too. Um, so, but I do think, some episodes will be from where Shooty is from, because he said he wants to raise some awareness in Doctor Who with going to where he's from, his country. So, I think there'll be some very historic episodes in his series.
mm. Look forward to watching that.
Yeah, I do think that hit the ones that have like history in it, like are the better episodes. Um, in Doctor Who.
Yeah, I, I remember watching. I remember watching. Was it Geordie's first or second series? And I was thinking like episodes were sort of they were okay, weren't the best, and then they did the Rosa Parks episode, and
Mm.
I remember being like after that ended, I was like, that is probably one of the best. That's probably her best episode. I was like, wow, like it was really good to see. It really had you hooked with the emotion in it. Like you
Yeah,
genuinely like were like, what's going to happen? What's and like especially when it first started off with him slapping right, and I was just like, I was in shock. I was like, have they really just done that?
yeah, he was that. I agree as well. That was a good episode. The only thing about the episode I would say is that they didn't need a monster in that episode. They could they the racism was the monster. Um,
Yeah,
really, and I think that would have topped it off. But yeah, that the better episodes I would say out of Jodie's run would be that one. I did like the Spyfall episodes, like when we got introduced to the Master with her.
yeah,
And I did like the Fugitive or Did You Do? That was a good episode. Um, and when we saw like that was a good episode and all, but we still don't know who that Doctor is. But
yeah,
and then the Power of the Doctor, I did like that one. That was a good one. Um, but a lot of them are very rushed, unfortunately. Like in her run, a lot of these episodes are rushed, um, which is unfortunate for her.
yeah. It kind of ruins the quality when you try to rush something because you may not get as many takes as you need. Like the scripts might have been rushed and sort of not been the best they can be. Also, whenever he has something like saying, "Oh yeah, the original production was going to be sort of what 12 weeks filming, but they pushed it back to 8," you're thinking that's a lot of time to cut, and that's a lot of things the team will have to change. So you're not getting the best that it could be. So I do think that would have severely affected the series, like with that.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. But I did like her as a doctor. Like we speak about autism. A lot you can see in some doctors that they can have like maybe traits of stuff they do that can come across as autistic.
Yeah,
Um, like I always say like the 13th Doctor is in a way because she's very much like Matt Smith's Doctor, 11th Doctor, where they're very hyper. They're very like them too.
yeah. I did notice the difference when like the sort of regeneration happened between David and Matt is like David's Doctor was sort of kind of fun like that, but then you go to Matt Smith, and Matt Smith's was kind of over the top, kind of energized all the time. His line delivery, the way he acted. I think Peter Capaldi couldn't. He did his best to try and put his own sort of spin on it, but then of course goes to Jodie, and Jodie just brilliantly takes over where Matt's Doctor really left off, where it's the energized, it's always like kind of sort of distracted in a way of sort of overthinking a lot of the time.
Yeah, yeah, it is good, and like the way they like to play with their consoles as well, like it's a toy. Don't know. Um, but yeah, I would say Peter Capaldi is very much like the Ninth Doctor in a way. Them two. Um, that they're like very arrogant. Um, they can be funny as well. They're quite sarcastic. I'd say. Um, yeah, and then David takes a little bit. He can be very serious and very funny sometimes. Um, yeah, like it's I do like it when they are funny though. Um, when they don't, like, say if someone says to them and they don't understand it properly sometimes.
Yeah,
Like I like the with Jodie's. I did like that she did have a custard cream in her console. That must have helped. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I think like when they're funny, when they make kind of one-liners, I do think that adds a good bit of humor into it. Like I remember watching Peter Capaldi's Christmas special about the kind of superhero. And he like pulls out a glass of water and he's like, "How did you keep that in your pocket?" He's like, "Skills."
yeah,
I remember that line. I've also remembered that line and laughed at it.
yeah. Because if you remember, the Doctor has done about their pockets because they put something. I think it was the Christmas episode, where the Doctor was against the well, one monster that he was controlling things and he put it in the pocket and then he was like pockets. So it does link in through the time line
It does, yeah.
of the Doctor there. Um, but yeah, that is a good scene. It was good that it had a superhero episode. I actually liked that episode. Um,
Yeah.
like I think it was Doctor Mysterio. That one, and I didn't like many of the 12th Doctor's episodes. I like his last series was great. I did like it. It was better than the first two. Um, but do you have a favorite companion that you like?
Mm. I would have to say, like the ones I remember sort of liking the most was kind of Rory and Amy. I remember enjoying their time as companions a lot.
Yeah,
Especially, I remember the episode where it was like, "Is this reality or is this a dream?" I just remember sort of everything going on that episode. It was like Rory and Amy were kind of like given their chance to sort of be more than them, I would say in a way. But like, it was still, I still really enjoyed it. Yeah,
yeah,
I would say Rory and Amy are kind of my favorite ones because of simply like the banter between them, how they got on with the Doctor. I think that was really because they always said of have a laugh, but they'd be serious, and it was like you don't. I think some of the kind of things, if they tried to did that with other companions, probably wouldn't have worked as much as it did with them. But kind of glad it did.
yeah. They were good. They were there. I think two series. They were there a long time, Roy and
They
Amy.
were.
Um, the majority of the 11th Doctor's run. And it feels like Clara was there longer than she was, because she was in and out of episodes, um, and because she kept dying, um, and then she came did a few episodes. I did like the Rings of Akaton. I did really like that episode. Um, because I just really like the song and I like the whole kind of vibe of that episode.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, like the Angels Take My Hand. It was actually pretty sad because Amy and Rory went, didn't they?
yeah, yeah. I think also because like the Doctor was sort of desperate in parts of the episode, like where it's the book is sort of predicting it, and when River gets a hand caught, and he's like, it says it should breaks her wrist, and he's like, no, you're not going to break your wrist to get out of there. And sort of like he's knows what kind of what's going to happen. He's going to try. He's doing his damnedest to stop the future from happening. But like at the end, he sort of realizes he can't stop it. So like when he's pleading with sort of Amy, like I knew as soon as Rory got sent away, I knew she was going to go. I knew there's no chance she would leave him. So
Yeah.
sort of basically, yeah, there was no chance of no matter what the doctor said, she was going.
It was a bit sad. That was because it was a good episode, and like they could easily come back if they did. Like in the 60th, if Doctors come back and they bring back their a companion with them, like
Yeah,
it's possible because it could be in a time where they were alive, um and stuff like that. So yeah, I like them too. Amy and Rory. Um, yeah, I I I like I do like Wilfred, even though he's not a companion like that travels with the Doctor all the time. But
yeah,
I did like him. He was funny.
yeah. He's had some pretty good moments with
Yeah,
the doctor. He,
yeah, he did, and he was in there like quite a lot. Like, he had a lot of screen time with the different episodes that he was in that. Um, but yeah, but there's so many companions. If you think about it, there's more companions than there is doctors.
yeah, there's been a lot through the years.
Yeah. Like the new one, Millie Gibson. I think she's gonna be good.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to see how she is. Like, if she's won the role, she's clearly done something good to impress like everyone at the team. Like, I remember Kieran, like, if there's one thing they like about you, sort of a behavior, like, they would probably make you really good. So, like, I remember about like going off about casting about it. I remember watching a special just when they were announcing Matt Smith as the Doctor, and I remember one of them saying the way like when he walked into the room, the way he flicked his hair or something. They said that's something like the way he did it. Like they said that's a mannerism like the Doctor would do. So they said that kind of won him the role. So I was like, that's pretty fun fact to know. Like the way he moved his hair was the kind of a big part of why he got the role. On top of obviously his acting ability.
Yeah, yeah, and he's doing great things now. He's been in a load of other things after
Yeah.
being in Doctor Who, Matt Smith. Um, but I only know Millie Gibson from Corrie, but I've never watched. Well, I say I've never watched Corrie. I have. I used to, but then I got bored of it, so I stopped.
I know I watched her sort of big storyline that she had, and she was really good, like in it. Her character, really well acted, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. I think she she looks she doesn't look like I think she's like 18. She doesn't look 18, 19, I think she is.
I
She doesn't.
think she is, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't look it. She looks like 25 or something. Um, but yeah, I think it's good. Um, I think she'll do great. It's gonna be interesting how she gets into the Doctor, like how they meet. I always look forward to that with a companion. Like how do you meet the Doctor? Um, I would rather it be a coincidence rather than like something's happened or the Doctor's come to the
Yeah,
rescue. Um, because that's a pattern that we're used to. I would just like someone else. Um, so how they meet.
Yeah, I think especially when they do those where it's kind of a random one-off sort of chance meeting, it's good to see them sort of kind of following it because it's ooh, what's going to happen here? How is she going to react to certain things? But yeah, I am excited to see sort of the chemistry between Shooty and her on screen to see how they go off between each other, the
Yeah,
back and forths they could have. So I'm
yeah,
really
yeah,
looking forward to see that because no one likes sort of how Shooty is as an actor and sort of his sort of normal personality. Watching Millie on kind of interviews, if they're saying they have the same sort of kind of jokingly energy, I would say. So I think they're
yeah,
going to be good together on screen chemistry.
yeah. Um, I wondered what the arguments will be like. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm very interested to see what the TARDIS is going to look like for Shooty. I'd love a purple one. I would
Ooh,
love a purple TARDIS. Um, it's gonna be colourful because it looks like he's having a different costume each episode.
yeah,
By
it
the looks
doesn't
of
look
them.
like they're doing that. Yeah,
Yeah, they haven't done that before, I don't think.
I don't think they have. No,
Like,
I think it's always sort of been kind of one
yeah,
signature look for a Doctor.
yeah, and when they normally get the specials, like there was a Christmas special or something, that they would change it. Um,
Yeah,
like, like David Tennant's Temp Doctor had two costumes that he would use, and then he would have the odd different one if it was a special coming up or something.
yeah. I remember his was sort of kind of a blackish or brownish kind of suit. Then one episode was kind of a blue, like a navy sort of bluish
Mm.
sort of color. Yeah, I remember there'd be differences sort of like that.
Yeah. And then the Ninth Doctor just wore his leather jacket, which was
Yeah,
probably the easiest costume I've ever had. um, yeah. And I think even Shooty he's gonna have in what one of his costumes gonna have like a black jacket or something. Um,
yeah,
so it's very exciting. If people cosplay, they might have to just choose one they like, right? Because you're getting a half dozen of them. But yeah, um, I say the favorite one I've seen is the one, the red one. I do like the red one. Um, I do like I like when they shared the photo of them as the royals, and then Shooty was wearing a red velvet one. I like that one.
yeah. That one's really good.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah,
like yeah,
that one really stood out. I would say it's more striking the red and everything.
uh, yeah. And then I like the one where the back in I think the 60s, where he's wearing his blue one. I do like that
Yeah,
one. And his frisbee hair. Um, I like that. It looks like it's gonna have a different hairstyle as well. All the episodes. Um,
that's a nice addition. That would be a really good addition. Makes the episodes unique as well.
yeah, but whatever an episode's gonna be like, they'll change it.
Yeah,
Um, they'll change it up. Um, but I like what Doctor Who's doing now. Like with the castings of with people with different abilities, like the people who are neurodiverse, even like they're exploring different things, and so like the it's good. I like how they're doing like with the different communities and stuff.
yeah. Really nice to see that kind of inclusivity happening.
Yeah, because they got Yasmin Finney from the transgender community,
Yeah,
and that they've got maybe people that need a wheelchair. So that's great. Like they're doing more of that. Um, it'd be good to have like maybe someone who's autistic on there.
yes, definitely.
I think because it got to impact a lot of people who are maybe like autistic as well.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, representation does matter. So
Yeah,
having someone like that on the show, like kind of officially, would be amazing for the community as well.
yeah, yeah. Like it would, and like because like Doctor Who shows a lot of traits with it anyway. They don't. It's good they don't say it though, but because it would be maybe a little bit offensive if say like the Doctor's autistic in certain ways, but like just putting it like what they're showing is great. It is great because I didn't even realise maybe until 2020 that there's a load of people out there that who are autistic and like Doctor Who. It's quite cool that you find that as many people are autistic like Doctor Who too.
Yeah, I would say it's a good show for like them to kind of sort of like for the elements that they do on the show, the sort of behavioral mannerisms that go on the show. It's sort of the one where they can look at it and be like, yeah, you know what, I really like. It's something to enjoy.
Yeah, yeah. Because like I think many of us didn't think we'd still be watching Doctor Who probably now. We thought maybe it was just it's just a thing that was on telly at the time. And then little did we know this is someone going to be watching forever. It's crazy. It's crazy. How like you could say like obsessed, hyper fixated, um, about it. Like
Oh
we
yeah,
saying,
definitely.
like we said earlier, like
Yeah,
collecting everything for it.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, but that is a good thing. That is a good thing. It's the reason why I started doing series like this. People who are autistic, people are not, to say, because that's how you raise awareness. So say
Exactly.
if you want to do a series about a particular thing, and everyone knows what Doctor Who is, you would think everyone knows what Doctor Who is, regardless what they have. And then you have someone that doesn't have it themselves, and they can learn about it and come on and learn about what it is as well as talking about something they like, something they love. I find.
Yeah, I mean, especially the learning part, because well, when I was in school growing up, I never knew sort of what autism was. It was never taught to us.
Yeah.
Even in secondary school, I didn't really know what it was until about, I want to say 2016 when I was 20 was sort of the first time ever sort of started to learn more about it. Like I'd heard about this, I just never knew sort of what it was. But it wasn't like till like 2016 where I really started to be like, okay, you know, I'll probably like someone I should look into. And I didn't really like start to really go into sort of research to understand what autism was until 2021 when I met my friend Lola, who's been on this
Mm,
podcast before. And yeah, I really started to, you know, watch, like learn more about it. And yeah, I've just been learning more and just understand more what it is. And like
yeah.
I never would have thought I was, but like in the learning, I did like read things up. I was like, hang on a minute, that sounds like me. Like
Mm,
certain time, I was like, that sounds like what I did. That sounds like what I did. I was like, nah, it's probably a coincidence. But like same time, my friend Lola said last year she actually thought I was. I was thinking, really? So yeah, you stand out with like telling us all the stuff I do. I was like, oh, okay then. Wow.
yeah. It
And
is.
like the more I've looked into it, the more I think back to it as a kid, I was more I think back like, yep, that was autistic behavior as a kid.
Yeah. It does. It is. Like when people do get diagnosed with it can be hard. Like maybe easier if you know what it is beforehand. Um, but yeah, it's great. It's great. I guess to learn new things anyway. If people have never heard of it, like you said before, there's not as much education in schools about it. Like you never hear any people talking about it. Like there's something to learn. It should be a lesson really because there's so much on the topic of it that people can know.
Yeah, definitely needs to be more education in schools about it. So people actually know, like, more understanding, I would say, is kind of needed because even nowadays, people don't really know what it is. Like they hear the word, but they don't know what it means. They just hear it and they sort of might think badly about it. They might think of it as a negative thing when in reality it's not a negative thing, positive thing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
Yeah.
education definitely needs to be increased for that.
Yeah. It does. It does. And like you say, the more people talk about it, the more people do it on a podcast or just talk about it generally, more people hopefully know. And unfortunately, it will be probably always be the case. Like it will always be like this. Like it's not everyone in the world will know, unfortunately. But the more people that just like you say, just think of it in a good way rather than I think in a bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, and then it tends to come as a hobby, maybe that you like to talk about it to people. But yeah, so Lee, before we finish, is there like do you have a favorite quote that you like that you have, Doctor?
I've been thinking about this. In the one quote that sticks out to me is when we first introduced, series has just come back. Rose Taylor, the Autons are about to smack or whatever. In comes Chris Eccleston, run.
Yeah,
That's going to be the quote I love.
that is a good one. Yeah. Um, because it just gives you like goosebumps, doesn't it, when you watch
Is
that scene, and then because it took us so long going through that autumn's thing, like you watch a clip about 5 or 6 minutes long, and then this man comes in and says, "Run." She runs, and then he literally says, "And nothing else." So I go home.
yeah, perfect way to introduction really for that.
Yeah,
Perfect way to bring the series back. Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, especially when he does the bit about the bomb and everything.
yeah.
That was a bit of a funny bit. Yeah.
I did like the scene in that episode where they did they were going, with the London Eye, they were r- running
Yes,
to it because I like the music as well. That's one of the things I've missed this last couple of years is the music and the soundtracks of
it was
people.
iconic.
Uh, like I've missed
Yeah,
the soundtracks per character. Like I've missed like maybe back with David Tennant, like you would have Martha would have a theme, Donna's have a theme, and stuff like that. So I imagine they will bring Donna's theme back when the 60th is on.
yes.
Um,
Oh, that'd be so
maybe
great. Like that was
may,
amazing.
maybe involve it a little bit, make it sound a little bit better now because the years have gone by. Um, but yeah, I love that quote too. But thanks, Lee, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah, it's been really good fun. To anyone that listening, watching today, we hope you enjoy it. We'll see you in the next episode, and then Lee will be back when we do the group episodes for November. And that will be fun because we have what the plan is. So for the August, it's people that have not been on the podcast before and that they like Doctor Who, or they're autistic, or they just like Doctor Who. And then through November, I have people that have been on the podcast, maybe they've been on it before, been on during August if they want to come back for the November, and that's leading up to the 23rd, which is of course the anniversary. But yeah, thanks again, Lee. I've enjoyed speaking to you, and yeah, I'm glad you've enjoyed it as well.
Thank you. It's been amazing.